Now, you guys know the theme of this channel is using the same hair cutting system over and over again. Different hair textures, different hair styles. So even though this is a much thicker, much fuller hair, you know, this hair can be challenging for a lot of you guys to cut, right? The Asian hair texture. But just because it's different and he's going to be asking for a taper, you know, we're not going to switch up the steps at all, guys. Look, so I'm still going to use my number 4 guard to be able to clear out you know, any length. Now, of course, if the top was gonna go through a trim, you know, I would set my foundation with like the black graduation, right? But we're really just tapering into the length he already has. He's continuing to grow his hair out, so I'm gonna remove a little bit of bulk just to make it easier for myself to pretty much go in with the taper. But you can see here, man, I'm doing a lot of freehand motions, right? I'm sticking with pressure at the bottom, and I'm using the guard to help me float up and off the head, right? You're taking care of the debulking, but at the same time, you're establishing a general shape for what you want your haircut to look like. So here we are. We're going to continue this motion here with the 4, and you can see I'm not rushing it. I'm not trying to move too fast. I'm allowing the hair to feed through the guard and get cut precisely, exactly where I want it. Now, a super slept on method that you guys may not see often, and it may feel uncomfortable, but when you have really straight hair like this and you're working on layering and just smoothing out, you can go with the grain when it comes to like the parietal ridge, that transitionary area from, you know, the tightness where the taper is going to be up into the bulk. Depending on how the hair lays down, you can also go with the grain. Sometimes I do with comb overs, right? Whenever they have like the side part and, you know, they want it a little bulky but not too bulky, sometimes, you know, that can help a lot. So the bulk is gone. The bulk's already taken care of. We did that with the number 4 guard. So now what we're gonna do is let's return down to the very bottom of this taper. I want this taper to bald out here at this area that I'm working with the clipper closed. You'll see here the sideburn, and this is where I'm gonna bald out the neck taper. Now, a lot of YouTubers are going to teach you to do this with the trimmer, and that's not wrong. It gives you a super precise line, but personally I would much rather do it with the clipper closed. And for the sake of teaching you efficiency, I'm also going to recommend that you do this with the clipper all the way closed. It still gives you a bald reference, but you're going to see towards the end of this tutorial how much easier it is to blend it out. And that's the same exact reason why I want to follow up with the half guard all the way closed. You know, depending on what you're comfortable with, you totally can go no guard at all with the lever open and set this guideline in like that. You can do that. But the half guard closed for me also is an easier line to fade out. You know, and notice here too, like the shape. This secondary guideline right here, sometimes I like to kind of curve it a little bit upwards, you know, up here towards the edge, just so the side tapers and the back taper can flow really well. But that may be something that helps you guys. I find it a lot easier to blend from guard to guard rather than guard to blade, and that'll come together, you know, shortly once we start fading down, which now is the process that we're getting into here. So I'm going to be repeating very much so the same motions that I was doing with the number 4 guard, but since it's with a lower guard, in this case the 1.5 guard, you know, starting open and then following up with closed, you know, as you can see right here, you know, it's really repeating the same motion, you know, tightening it up a little bit and just leaving a little bit, like it's incrementally lower than what we were going in with the 4 guard. It's a lot of repeating the same motions, but you can kind of see, you know, the darkness at the 4 left and the 1.5 open and closed is starting to play with the lighter shades, you know, and that's all it is. You're just going to continue doing that, mirror the same debulking motion that you did with the 4, but run it with the 1.5 now open first because it's safer, and then follow up with closed. And then the next step is going to be pretty interesting. We're going to skip guards again, but I'll show you that in a moment. We'll get right there in a second. Now, of course, all of the tools that you guys are going to see in today's video, from the clippers to the comb, the guards, the trimmers, the blades, all of it is going to be in the tagged product section down below. So if you're already in the market for a machine, you know, obviously a good cutting machine, but if you're interested in some innovation too, you know, it's got wireless charging built in. The blade never gets hot. I use this clipper all day, every day, you know, so if some things like that are interesting to you, then check out the tagged products down below. I'm gonna have everything tagged down there. You know, like I said, if you're already in the market for one, then, you know, it's a good way to support the channel. I'll have all that there, and I'll make sure that I get the best deals tagged for you guys as well. Appreciate you guys. It's kind of cool how seamless the 1.5 was able to blend into the 4, right? You know, for the sake of efficiency, it's important to learn how to skip guards. It's not necessary to do your 3 open, your 3 closed, your 2 open, your 2 closed. You know, you can skip all those steps by just using the right hand motions. And that's why here also, this is not the 1 guard in my hand. I returned back down to the half guard that we did. You know, remember the secondary guideline that we put in? That was with the half guard closed. So if I'm using the half guard open to float up into the area that was 1.5 and 4, then by the time that I slowly work my way back down to being half guard all the way closed, it should blend perfectly into the secondary guideline that we put in. And now all of a sudden, look at that. All you have to do is worry about the very bottom bald line. You know, notice here too, over the ears, all the way around the taper, it's not going to be super noticeable at the end of the haircut, but the little details about this little bit of sculpting that I'm doing here with this half guard, it's going to make a big difference in how the tapers complement each other, right? So again, you could see I'm starting with the half guard open. By the way, if you guys are not comfortable skipping guards, it's okay. You can, while you're still learning, you can do all of these steps with the 4, then the 3, then the 2, then the 1.5, and then the 1, and then the half. But I just want to show you the most efficient way, and if you're willing to give it a shot, with proper hand motions and not moving, you know, too quickly before you're comfortable with it, it could definitely save you a lot of time, man. So again, half guard open, slow and steady. Let the hair feed through the guard. Clip all the hairs that you need to, and then you can slowly work your way more closed. And by the time that you're done with all this step, guys, all we're gonna have to worry about is the very bottom bald line. And if we're thinking ahead, we put that line in with the no guard at all closed, right? So we're gonna return to that no guard all the way closed, but you'll see that in a moment. So let's watch the rest of this blend come together, and then we'll pick back up and hit that very bottom bald line. So again, here we go. Now back to that clipper all the way closed at the bottom, right? We can break to and through that line with the clipper closed, and then we can open up to notch number 1, right? Hit that line a couple times, raise it a little bit, next notch, push through that line again, raise it up a little bit more. Okay, you can see this happening. And again, next notch. You know, and by the time that you're all the way open, you should be blending perfectly well into the half guard closed. And remember, that half guard, open and closed, blended perfectly into the 1.5, and that 1.5 blended perfectly into the 4, and then that 4 went all the way up into the bulk, right? So it's a really smooth system if you're patient and you watch the cut come together, that's the thing, guys. You have to have a solid plan going into every single haircut, and that's why a haircutting system like this is so important, right? Where you have no anxiety, no like guesswork when it comes to it. So look, again, we're gonna blend out the bald line here in the back again, and just remember, guys, there is an anxiety behind, like, am I gonna push my fade too high? Am I gonna push my taper too high? And now this low fade becomes a high fade, right? But you just have to understand that, yes, you are gonna go higher, accept that in your head, but at the same time, you're gonna be going higher and higher with the guard, with the lever too, right? So when I'm all the way close, yes, I'm gonna raise the line a little bit, and then I'll open it up to a bigger notch, and then we're gonna pick it up a little more. Then the hair is gonna get longer again with the next notch, and we go higher. Then it gets longer, then we go higher, then it goes longer, then we're higher, and it all blends together. So just keep in mind, right? You will be going higher, but at the same time, the hair is getting longer as you're working your way up, and that's what makes it all blend together. So let's watch this happen here in real time. Now, I think every barber needs a good pair of blending shears on the station, man. So I'm gonna make sure to have some linked down in the tag products down below. Something quality, but something still affordable for you guys. But look, check this out, man. Like, going through, the bulky areas with the blending shears, notice I'm not trying to remove a whole lot of hair. You really just see me cutting the very tips, right? I want to work on softening the transition between the number 4 guard that we started with and the big bulk up on top. And if I just so happen to see any dark spots that are left behind in the clipper blend that we did, then you can also go back and polish it with these shears, because if you notice, it's blade on one side and comb on the other, and that pretty much means that every other hair is going to be cut. Like, you could go right in the middle of his head, take a big chunk of it, it's not going to leave him fully gashed. It only cuts about 40 to 50% of the hair, depending on the technical specs of the blending shears that you get, but it leaves a nice soft finish. And notice, guys, like, you see the way that the comb is running up and off the head? It's the same exact technique, the same exact motion that I use when I'm blending with the guards. Pressure at the bottom and float my way up and off the head. So I hope that makes sense. Like, it's a very consistent system. No matter what, I'm always using the same motions, whether it's like I said, if you're putting your bald line in with the trimmer, if you're putting your bald line in with the clipper close, if you do your secondary guideline with a guard or without a guard, or even when it comes down to blending with these shears, the system stays the same, the principles always apply. But yeah, we're looking pretty good, man. I'm really happy with how the blend is coming together so far, the shape overall. And now we're going to be getting into some lineup work, and this is where the frame gets put on the picture, and it'll further clarify what needs to be done. A good solid edge will reveal any imperfections in the blend that we need to go back to, and we will address them. So if you like these trimmers too, I've got them set pretty close. They're not all the way zero gapped, but they're micro gapped. They're very close to it. If you have had trouble finding the perfect spot for your trimmers to be set, please leave a comment down below, because yeah, if that is something that you would find value in, I want to make sure I can put some dedicated time aside to really make a good video so you guys can understand how to set your trimmers. Let me know. But yeah, man, I really like for the C-cup to flow smoothly into the fringe area. He's going to want to have a lot of length there that he can style with, so You know, just let that kind of flow in there. And then same thing with the back taper line. This is one of the most satisfying lines that you can do in a haircut, is that back taper line swooping over the ear. So don't push anything too far back, but don't be afraid to remove a little bit of hair that you can define that edge with. I love how the shape is coming together. Look at that. So thank you again for watching this tutorial, man. I really appreciate you. Please leave a comment down below. Leave a comment down below if you are still watching at this point, man. Like, you guys are definitely the VIPs, man. Check this out. So this is the finished product for the haircut. You know, leave a comment down below if the technique helped you, if it helped clear some anxiety about the fears of cutting hair. Let me know down below, because that's my mission, that's my goal with this channel. But yeah, guys, I appreciate you guys, and stay tuned for more content to come soon from Tomb 45 Barbershop, man. I can't wait to show you guys more. You know, we got a great start to the shop already, man, so stay tuned.